Okay, so I'm trying this idea. I just want to see what it would look like to essentially have a startup or an AI be the CEO of a company, of a startup, and to have up to 3 co-founders. Can't hire anyone for the first 14 days. I'll operate as chief of staff, so I'll do the things that it can't do, but it's going to have a phone number, it's going to have email, it's going to be able to make cold calls or at least go about that kind of stuff. And then hopefully we can integrate something like browser-based or hyper browser in the back end to like actually have it do stuff. We're going to give it like I said, up to 3 co-founders. It can be B2B or B2C. Has to be in the US, industry agnostic. Going to have $0 to start with. Needs to hit $100,000 in 60 days. Needs to hit $1 million in revenue in 9 months. That's a fast growth target. So let's go 12 months. Let's go 10 months. That's a pretty fast growth curve. And then 100,000 in 60 days. And then we'll see what it comes up with. I really want to run this experiment because I really think that I need to push my knowledge of how to use AI tools further. And I want to see what it can actually pull off, because I remember like a year ago, people were saying, or 2 years ago, they were like, oh yeah, well, like with GPT, I think it was like 3 or 3.5, like I'll have it tell me what to do and then I'll do everything. And I don't know whatever happened to those businesses, but this I want to be different. It's going to have a phone number. It's going to call people. It's going to do cold calls. It's going to take calls. It's going to write emails. It's going to do research, customer research. Like, I'm going to figure out how to build capabilities into this company where it is completely run by AI, except for the things that only I can do, like, get a bank account, register for an LLC, those types of things. But in reality, I don't think that's far off. Like, I wonder if it can write legal docs. I wonder, or at least it can build a co-founder, because again, I'm giving them 3 co-founders. Oh, and they can't hire a person for the first 14 days. So it's going to be them and a co-founder. And essentially, I want to see how far it can be pushed. I'm actually pretty curious. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, on a different computer, I have to build up a couple of other things. So we'll see how it goes. So you might not hear any more audio from me for a while as it's working through the stuff it's going to work through. So just a heads up. And we'll go ahead and tell it to start the research. Usually it has to go through 2 levels of research. I love that it goes through so many websites. I tried to do this before and it deleted all the information. And so I couldn't build from it. And I think it's because they decoupled deep research from 2.5 Pro. I think they wanted to separate them. So by doing that, they completely removed, I did this for a couple hours last night and could have used what it came up with, but I wanted it to start from scratch to see if it would come up with the same ideas that it landed on. Essentially what's going to happen is it's going to research some of these ideas, and then I'm going to say, where are the top 2 or 3 that you want to pursue, that you think is the best opportunity? And then it'll go and research that, and then I'll say, okay, now build out, break those down into, your top 1. And then once we have the 1, then we'll start saying, all right, let's build out the co-founders. We're going to essentially use deep research to build out a company. It's going to be crazy. I don't know how it's going to go, but as you can see, it's searched 133 websites. It's trying to gain context. And it's something that I think is uniquely qualified for Google or for Gemini, because Google owns Gemini, which means that it can tap into all of Google's websites, every Google website. And not only can it tap into Google's website, Google has already started to, there was a suit a couple years ago about Genius saying that Google is bypassing the way that they get money is through ads, or was through ads. And Google in its search was bypassing, for SEO purposes, the Genius hits. So Genius wasn't getting the ad impressions or the click-through rates from advertisers, which was cratering their revenue model, because Google was surfacing the lyrics on Google's website. So if you said, hey, what's the lyric to that, XYZ Taylor Swift song, it would just show you the lyrics on the search page, not that you had to click into Genius, which is how they, it used to be called Rap Genius, now it's just Genius. And so it essentially created that company revenue-wise, and so Google got sued for it. But the benefit is that if you are building an AI model, Gemini is probably one of the best ones to do deep research with, because of that exact same thing. It already has the ability to, without clicking into anything, it already has the ability to essentially do deep research. I know I sound further away. It's because I had to move the laptop away while I did some other work. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and move the laptop closer. It's going to make me sound like I'm closer, because I want to see what it came up with. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this to docs, because I am going to essentially create... Okay, it's already going to do that. Okay, cool. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think that I want to... I think I want to put this somewhere, but I'm not sure where yet. So... Interesting. Yeah, I wonder how I'm going to do this. I don't even know how it's going to work. AI powered personalized learning pro. So this is a little different. I'm really curious, because I'm going to see the top two that it selected before was essentially plug and play AI models, almost like kind of snippets for different types of niche businesses, whether it's answering machines for restaurants, or Calendly type things for therapists. Just hey, you can essentially build out all these plug and play methods where someone can implement their your tool on their website, and it'd just be really easy to understand and to put out. So that's interesting. It did not do that this time. AI personalized learning platform for professionals. It had something similar to this, actually. One that I really liked was AI mental health coach for remote workers. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, and the second thing I wanted to do was basically create an AI powered CMO for local businesses to run their SEO, run their marketing campaigns, discounts, all this kind of stuff, design, but it would be completely automated. Or not automated, but AI. So this is saying a personalized learning platform for professionals. I'm not mad at that. I think it would be cool. I think what's going to be difficult is now there are AI tutors, but are there AI business tutors? Because there's definitely a lot of AI language tutors. And could you build a coursework off of that? would be the question that I would ask. I'm not sure though. AI powered content creation tool for small businesses. I feel like everyone's done this. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I think everyone's done this. I don't know why. It's interesting that it came up with this because, yeah, okay, competition from AI. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. AI-driven cybersecurity monitoring. Yeah, I saw that in the previous one. We already had been thinking about this idea for people who are vibe coding. There's been a lot of people who are getting hacked. Lovable just came out with a Twitter post that said, "We're going to help you figure out how to secure your platforms and products that you build on our website, starting with helping you understand what row-level securities are in Supabase or database." Luckily, I wrote about or I recorded a video on that, like kind of feels like a month ago. I think about row level security, and so I think that yeah, I don't know how you're gonna build this though. I'm actually really curious about half of these. I think I think it'd be interesting. Oh, well, where are the other 12? Oh no. Are the other 12 ideas? Wow, didn't see that coming. I was like really excited. It kind of shorted me a little bit. It's interesting that AI only came up with AI stuff. I think that's interesting. I've never once thought about building an AI powered course work. Um, I wonder because like the marginal cost after you figure it out is legal review. I've heard of this, but if you don't have a lot of legal stuff, like you're not really, you would need to, yeah, that's just legal review, so I'm not really interested in that. No code platform for building internal business tools, although it's not really my call of what I'm interested in or not. So, yeah, essentially, like, we'll help you build anything that you want. No, I get it. This makes sense too. But how are you gonna, like, I could see this platform. I could see a no-code platform that essentially allows them to be like builds that are extremely custom to the situation and kind of self-maintained as well. AI power social media management tool for influencers, dude. These aren't very good. I don't know. I'm gonna probably ask you to go again. These are very basic. These aren't the ones that it came up with before. AI driven personalized fitness and coaching app. Okay, these action item generator. Why are you just regurgitating the one I did yesterday was really good. All of these have already been done, and not only have they already been done, they've already been done in like spectacular, very, very saturated fashion. So I'm probably gonna say this is literally Artifact that just failed by the Instagram founders. So I'm not gonna do that. Everyone's doing customer service chatbot for e-commerce. Jeez Louise. And then power content optimization. Okay, these are not very good. Language learning app. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, how about this? Can I talk to it? Will it pick up me talking? I don't know if it will. Okay, so that was not what I was looking for. I really want innovative ideas. Most of the ones that you mentioned have intense saturation within the market, and it would be really potentially difficult to enter into some of the startups that you've said with a zero budget, because you will be competing with a lot of incumbents who are also startups who have recently raised venture capital funding to scale quickly over the last 16 to 24 months. And so we probably don't want to go into those spaces this soon thereafter, but also let's get really unique, really dig into what is needed out there. And it doesn't even have to be AI. You use artificial intelligence for almost every idea, which is fine because you are artificial intelligence. But I would love if you could find some interesting through lines and earned secrets from just the internet and tie them together in unique businesses that can scale quickly, using the power of other AI agents that we can build together, and your three AI co-founders and me as chief of staff. And yeah, I was just looking for something that would be a little bit less common. There's so many, if I'm looking through all of the ideas you gave me, there's so many AI powered language learning apps. There are so many, that's pretty good. There's so many content optimizations tools for SEO. And will SEO even exist after this much AI gets put in? There's so many AI powered customer service chatbots. You see what I mean? There's so many, the personalized news aggregator was called Artifact. It was actually built by the former founders of Instagram, and it failed. So that's probably a no-go. There's so many AI powered resume builders and career coaches. So I wonder if there's something out there that we can really dig into. Even Google's about to launch an AI powered personalization travel itinerary and planner. Like, these are all being done. I wonder if you can really cobble together some unique insights and try to put it into 15 startup ideas that make sense, but also are innovative and also can achieve those revenue benchmarks that we were looking for with just having AI employees, except for me. So we'll see if we can do that. This might be, so what's tripping me out is that the ideas that it came up with last night were so much better. Like, I mean, there were 4 of them that I was like, I'm either thinking about doing that already and I've already started on it, so I don't want to lead the witness there. But like I said, they were really good. The AI CMO was interesting because it essentially creates the potential for, if you could do it right, you could get all of the business context from a business and have it essentially retool itself around what the goal is, the locale. So it can write really interesting copy for social media around if it's going to be raining that day, and that place sells, as an REI, a local REI that sells intense rain jackets for hikers. Like that, there's places that things like that can be, especially when it's hyper local, and that was the focus that Gemini gave me, was that it needs to be hyper local, and therefore the AI can use some really specific things that you would never get from a marketing agency. Even a marketing agency using AI, it wouldn't be as easy for them to do because they would have to do it for every single company and every single locale. And so what it was proposing is that we build kind of like an AI CMO that is so hyper focused on local, but by being that, it means that if each local business has a local CMO, then they can kind of start to collaborate after a while on, joint, let's say it's a brewery. Well, that AI CMO works with the food truck AI CMO to coordinate some social media posts and schedule some type of potluck. It could really like expand out and they can start to work together. And I think that was a really interesting idea that I definitely am going to steal, and I can't believe it's not doing it for y'all right now. It's kind of pissing me off a little bit because it was such a great idea that I was mad when I logged in this morning and was like, all right, let's do that idea. And Gemini was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What idea? So yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I'll keep hammering on this. So I'm not going to let it give up because I think there's a place for just letting it run, and there's a place for challenging it to move further. And I think our goal with this experiment is we want to push the limits of ourselves, or myself, and how we can use AI to do just things. I think it could be really. I think it'll help me understand a little bit more about what it's capable of in the real world, not just, for right now, a lot of the use of AI is more like textbook use. When I was in college, one thing that made me really upset was that, is that they use their textbooks, but their textbooks are outdated because they were academics and not practitioners. So some of the biggest debates I had with college professors was about, I know your stuff doesn't work because I run a business on the side and I took your stuff home that you failed me on that grade and it didn't work. And here's the evidence that I know that it doesn't work because I just did it. Because your book was written 20 years ago. So I want to make sure that I never get to that point with AI. So I'm really trying to push what I understand it to be by not just being an academic, but also saying, okay, you guys say that agents and computer use are the next thing. Let's get it there. I figured out how to make it have phone calls with double me. Like, let's figure out how to essentially build a company with just AI. And ironically, I started working on this last night with this idea. Today, a company raised $2 million pre-seed, in New York with kind of the same premise of, except for they want to launch what I'm launching, but for more people. So they want to build a platform to do what I'm doing right now. Well, not exactly, but they want to essentially be the infrastructure that allows, everyone's chasing that one person unicorn. I don't know why. I think it's just vanity at this point because it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But it is interesting that today they were like, hey, we're trying to build the infrastructure, the plumbing for people to launch one person unicorns. And all these AIs will work for you. I think that's really cool. I'm not trying to do that at all. I'm just trying to learn as much as humanly possible. So yeah, let's keep letting this cook a little bit longer, and then hopefully it'll come back with something that's a little bit more in depth than what it gave me before, which was extremely shallow. As you can tell, I'm not really a big fan of shallow. I mean, here's the thing. If you're researching 401 websites, I hope you come up with some stuff, man. Don't come up with some basic things after scanning 500 websites. I rounded up. All right, I'm going to move away, work on some more stuff on a different laptop, and then we'll get back to it when it's finished. If it'll actually get up to 500, I'll be impressed. This is what happened last time. It was doing too much research and got stuck. And that just, it was not great. I was not excited. Unfortunately, you can't do anything else in the app. Oh, look, it's still going. Look at that. All right, we're gonna pause this and then come back in a second.